Hey Toy Addicts, it's Jody, and it is time once again for What Sold. This time for January. Oops, I'm showing you some February sneak peeks. This time for January 2023. 2023 seems so weird to say. So we're going to get kicked off right here with a Star Wars candy container head. This is Cy Snoodles from the Max Rebo band. Let me remind you that if I forget to say, I don't pay much for things. If I really pay up for something, I'll make sure and mention it, but otherwise, assume things are like $1 or less. This size Snoodles paid about $1 at a Star Wars estate sale. Sold him for $9. I went to a sale recently that had a ton of stickers and paper and ephemera and paper dolls, and sold some of that during this, so you'll hear me talk about that. This is a lot of Your Dress and Dollies from Child Life magazine. So a lot of magazines, these ones were from the 30s, but a lot of magazines all the way up until the 90s, like women's magazines and stuff, would have like a children's page. And I've sold a bunch of those children's pages because this gal, her at the estate sale that I went to, she collected those children's pages, especially the ones with paper dolls, because that was her thing. But so like Women's Day would have had them, and a lot of times they were like Betsy McCall, or they were Joan Walsh England. But this is a whole nother artist. Anyway, these sold for $13. And then I've got some puffy stickers. You know how I love selling vintage stickers. These sold for $13.50. And then I have a postcard. It's a kind of an elongated postcard. I bought these four for $1 at an estate sale, and I've sold a few of these Palm Springs ones here for $15, which is nice. I love selling a postcard, especially at that price point. This is a Hard Rock Cafe beer glass, like a Pilsner glass. It went on sale from my store. It says 12% off. I'm not sure. I never had a sale for 12% off, so I'm not sure why it's 12% off. But um, an odd price range, right? This was actually I found in the attic a while back when we were cleaning our attic out, and I had gotten this at the Hard Rock Cafe like in the 90s. So that sold for $9.68. I had bought a whole bunch of sets of these pewter figures, and I think you've seen these in months past. I bought 8 little baggies, and I separated them out into lots of different little characters and stuff. They're not characters, but they're most of them are like a old west scene. So there's prospectors, and there's cactus, and there's hawks and road runners and stuff like that. So I got hundreds of them for $8, and I have sold probably 15 lots so far for about $10 a lot, which is what these went for, $10. And then here we've got some pages from a 1917 catalog. Typically, if I have a catalog, I'm not going to tear it apart, but on the other hand, I have this one I got. It was taken apart. It was tied up with string to keep it together. There were no covers or anything like that. So I just had been selling the pages off. And I sold these like 14 pages for $12. And this is phonograph and record cabinets and records from this catalog. This little section of this catalog. Now this catalog is about 1,800 pages. And I have sold over the years, I've had this for probably 7 or 8 years, and over the years I've sold hundreds of pages out of this catalog, and I still have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of this catalog. So tearing apart and selling it separately was probably a good idea. I mean, it was already apart, but selling it separately was a good idea. I went to an estate sale recently, and you guys know estate sales are my jam. Got a whole bunch of dollhouse figures from that sale. Little Tykes, dollhouse family, mom, dad, brother, sister, and the baby. That sold for $25. And these are the vintage ones from like the early 90s. Again, from that paper sale, these are miniature, like tiny little paper dolls. Teddy bears and Santa Claus and Dolly Dingle. They're like this big. I sold 5 sets for $15. And then we have a Little Kittles pink collector doll case. Now, some of the Little Kittles cases go for quite a bit. This is a pretty common one. It's sold for $15, and it's not in the best condition. This is an O scale Lionel train, so teeny tiny little train people. I've had these for years and years and years, and I recently ended the listing. I had 2 separate listings. I ended the listing, I put them all together and raised the price, and it sold. I don't know. I know a lot of people have been talking about ending your listings and selling similar for older things lately, and I do that, but also when I do that, I raise the price. Seems to work. This is a Sylvanian Families Slidale Fox family, and these sold for $23. And then I have a Lion King Rafiki figure where he's holding up the baby, the cub. $15 for that, and I paid $1 for it. And then here's another section of those paper dolls from magazines, and there were 7 of them here, and they sold those for $20. So that's 7 pages torn from magazines. These are some Joan Walsh Ungland birthday party placemats. They are also paper dolls, so you can punch them out, and that sold for $10. And then here's a little picture of little girls at a dance recital, and that sold for $9. This is an apple dumpling rag doll from Strawberry Shortcake. She also has her little tea time turtle with her. This velcros on and is easily lost. She sold for $37.50. I actually bought her and a bunch of other Strawberry Shortcake rag dolls. I really paid up for them, about $15 each, from somebody on Facebook Marketplace. They were all in such beautiful condition. And so she sold for $37.50, which was nice. This little tearful doll sold for $8. And then here again, so at that ephemera sale, I found this folder, like a file folder, just full of toy catalog pages. So this is one of them, 1975 Mego Ward's catalog page of the Star Trek Enterprise. And that one page sold for $15. And we have a Holly Hobby sheet set that sold for $45. I did pay up for this for $20, but I knew it would be a good sale, so that sold for $45. And then this is a Cabbage Patch Boy. He sold for $40, and he is super cute. And then I have a 1994 Walt Disney collector's set of cups. This was 12 cups that were given out or sold, I guess, at Burger King. So there's 8 that are assorted Disney movies, and then there's 4 that are from Pocahontas specifically. So these were actually 2 different series, but put them all together, and they sold for $100. And I paid $1 each for them, or 50 cents each. I can't remember. But they sold overnight for that too, $100. So that was nice. I have a Bluebell Lodge at Night, South Dakota, Custer State Park, RPPC, which means Real Photo Postcard, and that sold for $18.50. And this Ferga doll sold for $22. These dolls are from Italy. The company is called Ferga, and I just think the faces on them are so pretty. They just did such a great job. Right, this next item is a Fisher Price Little People number 928 Fire Station. Now this is a near complete set. I was missing the fireman, but all of the other, actually I was missing one of the firemen. There's two there. But all of the other pieces were here. It was a really cool set. I got this in a estate clean out. If you notice, I put number 928 in the listing. I like to always put the numbers of the Fisher Price sets. Most Fisher Price items have a number, and a lot of collectors, since there's so much Fisher Price to kind of slog through on eBay, there's tens of thousands of Fisher Price items. A lot of collectors will search first by the number. So you have a better chance of selling your Fisher Price items if you have their number. Now, if you just get some little people or sets, a lot of things have the number printed on them, especially the larger pieces. But if you get the little sets, you might not have the number printed on them. So what you can do is you can go to a site called thisoldtoy.com, and you can search on there, and they can give you the numbers of any sets that your item that you have was in, and then you'll have a better chance of selling it that way. That's my opinion, at least, but I know collectors do search for those numbers, so that's one way to do it and give yourself a little bit of a better opportunity of selling. All right, next thing, Smokey Bear Press Out Fun Set. This sold for $12. And then Playmobil Rockstar Jimi Hendrix with guitar, Series 11. I bought these at the Dollar Tree. I thought it would be a fun video to make and that they would sell eventually, and they're taking a long time to sell. But it was a fun video to make, so I do have a video of me opening that entire series. So I paid $1 for him and I sold him for $6.50. This is a Smokey Bear thank you card. It was $7.50. People love their Smokey Bear stuff. It doesn't sell for as much as it used to, but it does still sell, and I listed quite a bit of it, and most of it has sold very quickly within like the first week or two. So that's been nice. Little Kittle's Shirley Skididdle Walker doll. She sold for $18. And then I have this Holly Hobby Christmas Needlecraft Stitchery set, which came with the frame. It was a pretty cool set. I paid $2 for it at a garage sale, and I sold that for $18. Here's another of those pewter sets that sold for $10. This is a fun another magazine pull-out from that ephemera sale. It was Muppet Babies cooking recipes. I don't know how the two go together. I didn't read through the article, but I thought it was pretty cute, and that sold for $9. And I do believe I have put the scans of that up on my Toy-Addict.com, my blog page, if you want to look at it close, because it was pretty cute. I have some Joan Walsh Unglin paper birthday treat bags. Those sold for $8, again from that same ephemera sale. And from that same ephemera sale, I also bought this vintage Sanrio. It's like a little jewelry box. It sold for $35. It was not in great condition. Well, it was in okay condition. It was just some of this Sanrio stuff, the plastic tends to discolor over time, and so this one had some discoloration. Otherwise, I probably would have asked $45 for it. But it was from 1994. Vintage Sanrio stuff, 70s, 80s, 90s, does really well. Especially the more rare characters. And Spotty Dotty, the Dalmatian, is a little bit more rare character than, say, your Hello Kitties or your My Melodies. Although I would definitely be able to sell a jewelry box of those from the 90s for $35 as well. This is a Mattel Baby Beans Little Red Riding Hood doll. She sold for $13. And this is a Little Kittles Open House Dollhouse. This sold for $75. And I did do a video showing you what this looked like inside and out. It was a really cool set. Family Circle magazine from October 1947. That sold for $11. And Ladies Home Journal magazine from 1961. That sold for $7. Now these magazines, I used to do better on them, but they remember that magazines don't fit medium mail, and some of these older ones are large and pretty heavy, so the shipping is really what gets you on these. Joan Walsh Ungland Vintage Paper Doll Table Cover. That sold for $7. This was a cute little dime store doll baby set, and that sold for $17. Muffy Vanderbear in a soccer outfit, she sold for $20. And some Alice in Wonderland book plates sold for $12. Funny comic postcard that sold for $7. Monsters Inc. Henry Waternoose. This is just a McDonald's toy, but it was large. It was pretty big, and a well-made toy, so it sold for $8. New in box vintage Avon Hello Sunshine Funshine nail tint. This is like a kid's nail polish set. That sold for $18. And yes, I do buy and sell Avon stuff. That sold probably took me 2 months from the time I listed it until it sold. But a lot of Avon, vintage Avon, sells for me. Not the bottles with the shapes so much, unless it's kids ones, but I do like to sell vintage Avon. I do pretty well with it. This is a Sesame Street paper doll player book, and I bought this at that ephemera sale. First day of the sale, everything was fill a bag for $15 for the paper stuff. And then the last day it was like $5 fill a bag. And I got to fill really big bag, like my big Disney shopping bags, not just like a paper bag. So I'd say I've got about 50 cents, probably way less than 50 cents. But this is what I'm putting for my accounting is 50 cents into these. And it sold for $13. This hard plastic bunny rabbit I bought for $3 at a sale. It's a bank. I thought it was pretty neat, and it sold right away for $12.50. And then these American presidents in a miniature. This is a Mark's toy. I don't know, it's a toy as much as a learning aid, I guess, but that sold for $50. And then I have two of these Beverly Hillbillies Ellie Mae Clampett dolls. Now, they weren't really Ellie Mae Clampett dolls. They were by Kellogg, and I think as the story, the collectors have the stories of things, that they weren't able to get the license, or there was some sort of dispute about the license for Ellie Mae Clampett, and so they just released the doll anyway and called her the Calico Lassie. And she came with a blue and white striped shirt with like pedal pusher jeans with a belt that's a rope, so everyone calls it the Ellie Mae Clampett doll. They look very much like a Tammy doll. They're about the same size and shape as a Tammy doll with those kind of side glancing eyes that Tammy dolls have. So they do get confused with Tammy dolls once in a while, but they have the name Unique written on the back of their head, so I don't know if that was the initial toy company or I don't know why they wrote that. Anyway, so I sold two of these dolls. I listed them and sold them both on the same day, one for $22. She didn't have a dress, and the other for $25. And then this is a sort of a composition doll. It's from the 1940s, and it's supposed to be like a little mannequin for making your own doll clothes. Her arms come off, and then when you bought them new, the feet had little pegs in them, and they had a little stand, so you could stand it up by your sewing machine and put little outfits on it and, drape or whatever you were going to do. So she sold for $18. She's missing a hand. She's not in the best shape. This was a orange bird shirt from Disney World. I actually bought the shirt for myself and then just didn't really like the color on me, so I sold it for $23.50. And then this little cute guy is Dr. Doolittle. He was made by Mattel, and he's actually on the body of a Tootie doll from the 60s. If you remember those, it was like a little sister or cousin of Barbie, and it was all like a plastic body, but it was all bendable. It had like wires inside. And so it's a Dr. Dolittle head on this uh, Tootie doll body. And he has his cute little suit on and everything. And there's actually a little perch on his back for his little parrot to sit. I thought that was really cute. And that sold for $22. And then I have this Hallmark Pretty Kitty birthday centerpiece that sold for $10. This is a Ronald McDonald birthday party sign and hat. This was actually stuff from our attic. My brother had his birthday there, I think when he was 8, and this sold for $13.50. And then this little doll here, she's not quite a little Kittles, although she is usually mixed in with little Kittles. In fact, I bought her with a bunch of little Kittles. She's a little bit taller, 4.5 inches, and she is a Dolly Darlings doll, and she is the Technicolor, probably because of her dress, I'm guessing. And then these three little gals here are 1992 Playmates dolls from a show called Swan's Crossing that was like a young adult soap opera. I don't know. I never heard of it before, but I sold the three of them for $10. And then here's another one of those catalog pages from the John M. Smythe catalog that I was telling you about before. This section of 10 pages sold for $12. And then this little Aquaman DVD with a Lego minifigure, I actually picked up at the Dollar Tree. I just saw it sitting there and I was like, a Lego minifigure and a DVD for $1.25. Someone's probably going to want this. And they did. Sold it for $11. And then this doll here is a Horseman Mimsy doll. She comes with a little bird cage. She's pretty cute. I'd never actually seen these dolls before, but Horseman dolls they're not usually the best quality, and so you don't see a whole lot of them because they were hollow and the limbs tend to like pop out and break and stuff. So the quality isn't usually the best on these dolls. But she's pretty cute still in her box, so she didn't have the opportunity to get played with much at all, I guess. This is an Edward Gory Cats paper doll book from 1982, again from that ephemera sale in the Fill-A-Bag. That sold for $30. This is a Bourjois cologne called On the Wind, and this sold for $13.50. I bought it for 20 cents at an estate sale. Here is a Sears catalog. This is the full catalog from Fall Winter 1972. That sold for $42. Typically when I list catalogs, I love to sell catalogs, and especially the Sears catalogs and the Wards catalogs, people don't realize that they fit right into a padded flat rate envelope. And so these don't go media mail because, again, they're advertising and you can't ship advertising through media mail. So you do have to pay full price. But since they fit right into a padded flat rate, the shipping can be quite a bit cheaper than most people usually just quote by the weight and priority mail. So that is usually typically because these are heavy. These can be 3, 4, sometimes even 5 pounds because they have so many pages. Um, and so you can have a good advantage if you put in there that it fits in a padded, that you're selling it and sending it in a padded flat rate because the shipping charge from the padded flat rate to the regular weight from this could be $5 less. Even it could be even more savings than that depending on the weight of the catalog and where it's going. I'm in Oregon, so if I'm sending it all the way to Pennsylvania or something, it could be even more than $5 savings putting it in that padded flat rate. And I will usually put a piece of cardboard on the top and the bottom just to keep it safe. But these catalogs went through the mail, so they're pretty sturdy in that way. Here's some more Smokey Bear items. $9 and $10 I sold for these pocket calendars. And this is a genuine Germain Montiel cologne spray and powder. This was brand new in the box. I bought this at a sale for 50 cents and it sold for $100. So that is one of my bolos of this month is Germain Montiel. I had never heard of it before that. At this sale, I bought a bunch of sets. They had a bunch of Avon sets. They were mostly Avon and Old Spice, but I bought a bunch of sets and they charged me 50 cents for the gift boxed sets. And so that's what I got for this, paid for this one. And I got $100 for that. So that was pretty nice. That is brand new in the package. So eBay shouldn't have a problem with selling that, with you selling that at all. I got a Tip Top Blue foldable comb brush combo. People love the vintage hair care products. Shampoos, conditioners, hairsprays, barrettes. If you watch Bolo Buddies, she's done really well finding goody barrettes and hair clips, and hairbrushes are no different. People love them. Now, most of the hairbrushes don't go for crazy money. This sold for $13.50, but I did sell an Avon, new in the package, Avon hairbrush from like 84 or something for $85 recently. So Avon hairbrushes, watch out for those. And then this here is also from that ephemera sale. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you've seen I've sold some sticker books. This was a sticker book, but it's just fruit stickers, like the sticker you have on your avocado or your banana or your, you know, all the fruit. The whole book is that. And so that sold for $100. And then I have this vintage Duracraft Woodsman. It was a catalog, but it's just like 3 or 4 pages, and that sold for $100. And then I have these 2 little art prints, Michelle and Company. I just threw those in my bag. I wasn't sure if they were going to sell, but they sold for $25, so I'm glad I did. And then this is Kitty's Day 1922 BPOE, which is the Elks Club. And it's just a pin, a commemorative pin from an event they had in 1922, and that sold for $18.50. There's a little picture here, and the picture was in really bad shape, so if the picture would have been better, it probably would have done a lot better. And then here's one of those Tootie dolls I was talking about earlier. Here's her bathing suit, the original suit that the doll came with, and that sold for $9. 2 cute little Easter bunnies sold for $10. This is a sealed cassette tape. This was in my death pile. I had no idea where it came from. I don't remember picking it up, but it sold for $7.50, so there you go. And a vintage Billy Mink 1924 book by Thornton Burgess. That sold for $15. I usually pick up books by Thornton Burgess that are hardcover. Those do pretty well. Ooh, this was a good one. Pillsbury Doughboy placemats from the 70s. I got 4 of them, also in that fill-a bag, and I sold them for $37.50. And this is Huckleberry Pie doll, just the outfit and the shoes, sold for $7. And a greeting card by Rose O'Neill of Cupid dolls, that sold for $8. These 2 1940s Knickerbocker baby dolls sold for $40, and they're like the hard plastic. I'm not sure what type of plastic it is. I don't know if it was celluloid or what you'd call it, but I know they were doing a lot of experiments in the 30s and 40s with different kind of plastics, and this is like not a plastic we use anymore. I think maybe because it ended up being brittle, but these were in good condition. These were 2 towels from the health and beauty sale that I went to last summer. I just got around to listing them, and they sold pretty quickly for $18. And then this was a little 2000 strawberry shortcake table and TV set that sold for $15. A set of vintage Flintstones Pebbles and Bam Bam plush dolls. They were 10 inches tall. They sold for $35. And then this Canon Royal Family towel. This is an old towel from the 60s. It's used. It's not in perfect condition. But This is a very popular style, and that sold for $55. I paid $2 for it at a sale. This cute little cat, she's a wind up. I paid $1 for her at a sale, and she sold for $35. And then I have a vintage lot here of Cupid doll ephemera that also came from that fill-a-bag sale that sold for, I believe it was $12.50, and it was just some kind of random Cupid doll stuff that I didn't think would really sell very well individually, so I just put it all together and sold pretty quickly. This is a Caron cake, and that's the type of yarn. They call it a cake. It's not really a skein, it's kind of mashed up. So that sold for $12. And she was hoping that I had 6 more, and I only had the one, unfortunately. Um, and then this egg guy, exactly porcelain egg, I got from a friend, and he sold for $14. And then Secret Treasures in the Forests. This was also from that ephemera sale that sold for $8. Little Kittles Storybook Sweethearts Rapunzel and the Prince. That sold for $80. I took an offer of $80 on that one. And I did do a video a while back on these, but I bought 3 of these sets. I paid $2 total, so I got about 75 cents in per set. So I'm pretty happy to sell something for $80 that I paid 75 cents for. Vintage Holly Hobby gift wrap paper, 2 full sheets. That sold for $8. Hello Kitty. This is a 1981 Happy Birthday pin. Usually when I see a tub of pins, I don't sell a whole lot of pin back pins, but I'll usually look in them to see if there's any character ones. And for whatever reason, I tend to find Hello Kitty ones. I've probably sold 15 or 20 of these over the years, and they usually sell for about $15. So if you see Hello Kitty vintage pins, Hello Kitty vintage anything really, at least check it out, but I usually pick it up automatically. This is an old Avon Nutura replenishing cream that sold for $13.50. These 2 gals are F&B Girl Scout dolls. They are they have their little uniforms. I picked these up at Goodwill for $5 each a while back, and I sold them for $27. And this was also a Goodwill find at Halloween time. If you're ever at Goodwill when they put out all the Halloween costume stuff, even if you're not looking for Halloween costumes or reselling costumes or whatever, I always go through that because they always put interesting things in there that aren't necessarily costumes. Like this was a vintage Ghostbusters, like their uniform, you know, from the movie, but it's a pajama for kids, and it sold for $45. But I've picked up like vintage, super neon-y bark cloth Hawaiian dresses and stuff like that in the Halloween section because for whatever reason they put them in there. And other times they would probably sell the stuff like this on shopgoodwill.com, but for some reason it gets put in the Halloween. I can't even think of like lots of interesting different clothing pieces and stuff like that vintage stuff ends up in that Halloween stuff. So I would always check that out because there's some interesting stuff in there. These are some McGraw-Hill Critical Reading Series curriculum books. They sold for $10. And then this little gal is this little guy, excuse me, is a Hart Family boy. He sold for $7. This is a single bionic woman shoe, and it sold for $9. I love to sell vintage doll shoes, like even the singles. Anytime I find like a bag of shoes or whatever, I always pick it up because if I can find a shoe like this, it sells for $9 or $10 for one teeny tiny thing. It's so satisfying. I don't know why. I know it's not a lot of money, but it's just satisfying to find some teeny tiny little thing and sell it for $9. And then we have two sets of Betsy McCall paper dolls. One sold for $18, one sold for $28. Those were to the same buyer. A Barbie baby Chrissy mermaid dolls. These are like little dolls that go with the Barbie. And the ones that have the long hair, like these, they used to do a lot better, but I still pick them up. $13.50 for three tiny little dolls. It's pretty good. Estee Lauder white linen perfume spray, $13.75. And then these are like electric pole lines for your train layout. These sold for $15. Also love selling vintage menus. This is the Tower Cafe from San Luis Obispo from the 1950s, and that sold for $25. I paid $2 a piece for all the vintage menus that I had. This is a cactus postcard that sold for $6. This little Department 56 peekaboo greeting miniature teddy bear, like about this big, tiny little bear that's jointed and everything, really detailed little guy. That sold for $9. And then $7 for a little Fisher Price sink. And here's the Edward Gorey. Again, I did actually have two of those. And then that's it for January. So January, I had a couple of bigger sales, mostly bread and butter stuff in January. It wasn't the best month. January is actually usually one of my better months, so I was kind of surprised. But some of my favorite things from this month are definitely that towel. That towel was a cool one to find. Oh, and the little kitty that sweeps. She was really cute. And I have, if you don't follow me on Instagram, go over to Instagram and follow me at Jody, Jody, JodyToyAddict.com. .com at Jody Toy-Addict, and I have a little video showing her doing her little sweeping. It's very cute. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me down below if you were surprised by any of these sales. I was surprised how much these Pillsbury Doughboy placemats went for. And give me a star emoji in the comments if you made it this far. You'll be my rock star of the week if you made it this far and watched the whole video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.